Hi, my name is Brian with New Time Instruction. Today we're going to be showing you how to replace a toilet. Step one essentially is we would start by shutting off the water. Make sure that there's no flowing water going into the toilet. That way when we remove things, water doesn't go everywhere. Alright, so now that we've shut the water off, the next step would be to actually, go ahead and take this off so you can see it, to actually flush the toilet and get the water out of the bowl. There, now all the water is out. Now next step would be to actually get the little bit of water out of the bowl in here too, so it doesn't go everywhere. Now that you got your gloves on, this is going to be sanitary. We'll actually start by scooping out some water. You can either have a bucket beside you. Today I actually have a sink right next to me. So if you do have the luxury, you can always just go ahead and use the sink next to you or the bucket, whichever you prefer. I'll come over here and drain as much water as you can out of here too, because there's actually a hose down here that you want to undo. Once you undo it, there's going to be a lot of water coming out of there, so you want to have this as empty as possible so that you don't make a mess. Alright guys, so I just kind of want to let you know the name of these parts in case you ever need to go and replace them or just reference back to remember what they're called. This is actually going to be your flush handle. This is going to be this down here that I'm lifting up. This piece here is your actual toilet flap. And this is going to be your toilet pump that actually pumps your water back into the toilet and compresses it. Alright guys, so from here we're going to do two things. Once you do have water pretty much drained out of this area here, the next thing is we're going to do lip lock. We're going to actually put this in the inside of the toilet. This is going to turn any excess water that's left on the actual inside of the toilet into gel. Keep it from running out when you actually lift the toilet. Alright guys, a little side note, make sure you do have some shop rags, just because again we're dealing with water, you are going to splash a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and put some of this liquid lock in here. Once we do put it into the toilet, we're going to wait 4 minutes for it to actually solidify. Meanwhile we do that, we're going to go ahead and loosen up these side bolts here to actually be able to remove the toilet. And we're going to wait 4 minutes now. The water essentially will mix in with it and turn into gel. Meanwhile, we'll do that. We're going to go ahead and grab some tools and get the toilet loosened up. Alright guys, so there's actually quite a few different tools you can use for it. Today here in my hands I got either a channel lock or a pair of vice grips. You can also use an open-end box wrench if you have the right size. Today I'm actually going to go ahead and use my channel locks. Alright guys, so these bolts here should not be too tight. You just crack it loose there and then you should be able to just go ahead and loosen them up with your hand there. And as you can see, meanwhile I was taking these bolts off, the sand there's already turning the water into gel. So, pro tip, so we do got the new toilet here. I'm actually going to go ahead and use a box cutter here to cut off a piece of cardboard. What we're going to use that for is to actually place the old toilet onto that so that we can just slide it out of the bathroom. Alright guys, so next, once you do have the cardboard here, we place it next to the toilet here. I'm going to go ahead and lift the toilet up and place it on the cardboard. Alright guys, two things. One, if your toilet is leaking water from underneath, you more than likely just need to replace the wax ring. At that point, you can clean off the wax from the bottom of the toilet, clean off the wax from this area here, get a new wax ring underneath your toilet and put your toilet back down. Or number two, in this scenario, we're actually going to be replacing the whole toilet. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and clean the wax off right here. And then we're going to go grab the new toilet because the new toilet comes with a new wax ring. Go ahead and use a disposable spatula because you are going to want to dispose of it afterwards. Also keep a little bag next to you so you can go ahead and put the wax in the bag as you're scraping it through. This brown stuff here is not any waste. This is actually the wax ring itself that you'll be replacing if your toilet's leaking, or if you're replacing the toilet. This is the wax ring that comes with the new toilet. So here we got a new toilet. This is a Glacier Bay all-in-one dual flush toilet. Very popular one that you can essentially just go down to your nearest Home Depot and pick up. Very popular replacement. If you guys want to watch a video as far as the actual toilet assembly, there will be a link in the description. So now that we got our new toilet, the next step is to install a wax ring. Usually the easiest way to do this would be to actually install it in your drain pipe. Alright guys, so remember that when you slip your bowl in and over, you're actually going to want to put in and then twist so you can actually lodge it up against these little tabs here, that way it doesn't lift up. So the next step is to now actually install your toilet, and when you lift it and put it onto the actual drain pipe, you want to make sure that these bolts here slide into these holes here, okay? Alright guys, so these are the actual pieces of hardware that hold your toilet down. So this is going to be the first one, it's a little white washer. Second, little metal washer. Third, that's going to be your actual wing nut. And then fourth, this is just a lid that basically covers it all and makes it look nice. Alright guys, so essentially what you're looking at is that first white cap that I mentioned, and then the little metal washer as a second. And finally, as the last step, we got your wing nut to actually bolt it on. And then on top of that, we have the last white cap to make it all look nice and flush. Alright guys, so now that you've got both wing nuts in place, don't completely tighten it. We do want to sit on the toilet to make sure that the wax ring sits in place properly. Let's go. So when I went ahead and sat down on it, I did feel the wax itself actually squish and it settled down a little bit. So that's something that you want to feel when you do sit on it. The next step would be to actually reattach your compression hose to the bottom of your tank here. So I'm going to do that really quick. So there's actually a spot right here where this hose threads onto. So the next step is you want to actually twist this valve here to the on position. That'll allow this tank to start filling. So the next step is to actually install your toilet lid. Go ahead and do that. Make sure that your blue and gray align up with your blue and gray. And then go ahead and do a test flush. Alright guys, pro tip 1, when you do your test flush, make sure that there's no water leaking out from the sides. If so, that means your wax ring didn't seat properly. And you go ahead and take your toilet off and check your wax ring. Pro tip number 2 is go ahead and line the base of the toilet with silicone. Make sure that it does get any extra final seals around that toilet base. That's it for installing your toilet. Alright guys, if you found this video at all helpful, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe buttons. And thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next project.